Do 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 do. Hello, g'day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome in to GarageBand Weekly for another week. This week on the show, we're talking about iOS and iPadOS 18.0.1. Yes, it's such a big update. It's a .0.1 update. What does it mean for you? Is it safe to update to it now? What other questions do you have? Well, that's what we're going to cover in this here show this week. We've got some news and notes to talk about as well. If you're here live and you've got questions, all you need to do is put a big Q in front of your question, and I'll tag that and be able to hopefully answer it. If not, what we generally do around here is we send it off to the Brains Trust, because we've got lots of wonderful folks in this community that can help answer your questions as well. So it's not all down to me, which is a good thing, because I know some, I don't know all. Let's dive in and talk news and notes to start with. And the big news is that Songtember is over. Officially, but kind of not really. It is over. We've completed the 2 shows yesterday. So thank you to everyone who participated in Songtember, everyone who came along and watched the shows. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. Clearly, I feel like I've been to a 24-hour party, because over the last 24 hours before this show, we did 2 Your Music Live shows and a happy hour. And I talked for collectively about 7 hours, which is not usual for me. I normally do an hour to 2 hours maximum, but chatting for that amount of time kind of took it out of me. But it was all good in the end. It was enjoyable, and I hope you got a bit out of it. Like, even if you didn't finish, and this is the important thing, right? There are some folks who aren't quite there with their Songtember song yet. They're on the final stages, they're rounding that final bend, and they're getting ready to finish their song. If that's you, don't stress, because even though I said Songtember is officially over, we do a mop up. So over the next month, basically, we have more songs that come in. So if you started a song in Songtember that you didn't finish, then you're probably good indeed. Yes, I know I need to go pop a vitamin C, and I need to drink plenty of water. Look, I could go and get an IV fluids shot, but I think I'll be all right, as long as I don't get run down. Isn't that the thing, that when you're like busy, and then you stop? That's when I get sick. I don't know if anyone else has the same experience, but while I'm going, the adrenaline and the momentum, I just said adrenaline and momentum. There you go. That just proves it. G'day to the folks that we do have here live. Hello, Jenny Jolivet, Joe and Barry Glenn. G'day to you. Hello to Mark Bro. Thank you for dropping on by. Barry Glenn is here as well. Mateusz Brakowski, Maddie P. did a wonderful song. Who did you collaborate with, Maddie? See, I've already forgotten stuff. And hello to Al Davis Music as well. Hope you are all doing fabulously and fighting fit here on a... Oh, it's not a Friday. Hello, Emilio, who submitted a very cool cover. We had a few covers as part of Songtember. We had a Beatles, Dire Straits, and Pink Floyd. And I'm like, hey, if you're going to do covers as part of Songtember, can't really go much better than Beatles, Dire Straits, and Pink Floyd. So very cool. And we had a lot of fun. So the culmination of that for me is that my song is out there to the world now. My song called Learn, it's got a green dot there. It's got 2 tracks on it, because this is it here. There's a link down in the description if you haven't already checked it out. I've got to update these links. It's already there on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, and Deezer. I'm going to be updating those and adding in things such as the music videos, because I did a lyric video, as did Mars Capone. So if you've been living under a rock, or you've just chosen this point in time at the start of October to become a member, or to become a patron, or to just watch the show, this is what we produced, and this is my Songtember song. And the cool thing is that, here on the hyperlink page where DistroKid provides it, you've got a little demo here. So let's take a quick listen to my song Learn. So you got that one there, and then we also have this one from Mr. Mars Capone. complete with his woo except, see, I thought when Mars sent me this remix, I'm like, oh, I love that little woo vocal that you added in there. Apparently, that was me. Mars tells me after the fact that no, I just found that that was just one of your vocal samples where you were doing something. And I just put it in there and it worked. And I'm like, oh, okay. I must have just gone woo at some point, which is the joy of a remix. Sometimes people will pick up the little bits that you don't include in the track. So a huge thank you to Mars Capone for helping out with that one. And I'll come in here. The link is in the description now. By the time you look at it later, if you're watching on the replay, hopefully I'll have added those music videos in there so you can check them out. No Adam and the Ants cover. What a shock. I know. G'day, Bradley McKnight. Have not seen you around for a while, my friend. I hope you are doing well. Karen Lowe it was. Hope we'll hear more from her. She promised to share more. Excellent. Yeah, and I think that was reflecting upon Songtember. One of the best things about Songtember is that, and I say this with all respect to the usual suspects that spend a lot of time with me here on this channel. I love you all, you know that. But we do get to see and hear from folks that aren't always around, that are kind of lurking in the shadows in the background and maybe aren't producing music every week or every month, but they do sit down and they create some amazing songs. So a lot of artists that we don't hear from all the time were sharing their Songtember creations, and it was super good and super fun to hear from those. So that's Songtember. Learn is out now. We had a little bit of a GarageBand update. I talked about it very briefly last week. I did want to point you over here. I haven't covered it in a full video yet, but this bloke has. So go and check out Patrick from the GarageBand Guide. He's got a complete video here, and in under 6 minutes, he explains to you all the new things that are happening in GarageBand iOS. Anything earth-shattering? No. So if you haven't updated yet to 2.3.17, you can. We haven't had any reports of it breaking anything or bricking anything or wreaking havoc around the world. So I think you're good to go. But I don't think, apart from the dark mode logo that you can put on your front screen, there's really nothing that you'll notice that is going to be significantly different about that version. The one thing, and tell me, I'm gonna show something here. Tell me if this has been new or if this has been the way it's been all the way through, because I found it interesting that when you go to share, I'm just going to open GarageBand here and open up a GarageBand project, and I should probably show you my iPad so you can see what I'm doing here. So in the past, the biggest problem with sharing GarageBand projects has been you can't share just the .band file. You have to share them as a .zip file. And in the update, it said that if you now share this, so if we come in here and we share the project, that if we share it via email, so if we send a copy and we share it via mail, yeah, see how it automatically creates .band.zip? So I do need to experiment with this and send it to myself and then see if it will automatically open that. It is a good thing though, because I've got a feeling, and I don't have any devices left that don't have the updated version, so I need to try and find a device somewhere in the house that has the old version, but it is nice that it just zips it up for you and gets it ready to email. The problem is, I don't know too many people who actually use email to send projects, because you can't really send a very large project via email. And the vast majority of people that I know and that I collaborate with, they use like Google Drive or iCloud or OneDrive or some sort of cloud sharing platform. So I'm not sure how useful that's going to be, but you know what? If it causes less problems with folks that are like trying to share a project over email, because as soon as it attaches that .band file and it goes out into an email address, it's gone. It's corrupted. You're not going to be able to open it. So I guess that's a good thing. If it's going to fix that small problem for some small subset of people, then win. Good stuff indeed. So go check all of that out if you want to check out Patrick's video, and keep an eye out here on the channel, because I'll probably cover the update. I didn't jump on it day one because honestly there was nothing there. Nothing that I was particularly interested in. I wanted to quickly make you aware of Prime, Amazon Prime Big Deal Days. And you might be thinking, big deal? Yeah, no, it's kind of a bit of a meta name for it, isn't it? Because welcome to the Prime Big Deal Days. It's like, yeah, it's not really a big deal, is it? But here's the thing. Don't go out and just buy everything just because they say it's big deal days. But for the next 5 days, from the 8th to the 13th of October, Amazon are going to have a bunch of deals. And just keep an eye out. If I find enough stuff to actually make me excited, I'll put a video out. If I don't, I won't. But a quick reminder that if you so desire, and if you would like to, you can go over to my gear guide, studiolivetoday.com/gear, and that's where you'll find all of my gear recommendations and links to Amazon, links to Sweetwater, links to Thomann, links to eBay. If you're ever buying anything, you can use those. Now, this is the part where I'm not allowed to say you'll be supporting the channel, but I do have to say that they will break off a small chunk and send it to me. And when I say small chunk, yeah, we're talking between 2 and 5% the vast majority of the time. But if you need to buy guitar strings, if you need some new cables, if you need to, if you are buying a new guitar or a new interface or a new microphone, yeah, and you want to do that, you're welcome to. And again, I'm not really supposed to tell you this, but if you're buying nappies, if you've got young children, if you're buying a treadmill, someone said to me that, look, and again, the reason I sort of joke around about this is that Amazon has some very clear terms about how I'm supposed to promote this, because so many dodgy people just say, yeah, here's my affiliate link. Use this and you'll be helping me out, and just buy everything. Do your weekly grocery shopping on Amazon and use my link. I'm not going to tell you that, but the gear guide is there. If you're buying gear and you use it, it costs you no more, and they do break off a chunk and send it to me. Quick drink there. Even looking for a new lawnmower would help me. See, Mark said it. I didn't say it. Thank you, Thomas. G'day to you, Thomas Christ. I hope you are doing well, my friend. I know it's a busy time for you, and you rock this Thursday. I expect to be as busy, if not busier than ever, because you're going to have quite a few Songtember overflow songs coming through to you rock as well. Hello to Princess LDG. The point is, in the new version, you can import directly into GB and it will unzip it. So yeah, that's what I thought it was. And then you can just bring it straight in. I couldn't get it to work in my testing, but I was probably doing it wrong. Like, I was holding it wrong, or I was doing it wrong. Because I went into GarageBand and it was grayed out, and I had to go to Files, tap it, and then go back to GarageBand and tap it, and then it finally opened. So maybe I'm doing something wrong, but that's why I wanted to test it. I thought I'd just mention it, and then I'll test it. And if I can get it working, and if it's a good feature, I'll go back and make a video. But probably not. Yes, it's true. Once you click the link, Pete's get credit for any purchases. Spot on. See, Thomas said it. I didn't say it. But no, in all seriousness, these big events they have, the Black Fridays, the Prime Days, the Prime Big Days, the eBay Thursdays, whatever they are, don't go out there don't go looking for stuff unless you want to go shopping, that's fine. But what I normally do, best thing to do on Amazon, you can have a wish list, and then just go check your wish list, see if anything's on special. So everything that you want to regularly buy, so your guitar strings or cables, or you got your eye on a new mic or whatever it is, just have it in your wish list. And most places have the ability to save things into like a wish list or a buy later or something like that, and then just go check it out. And then just wait. Like, it's not urgent if you don't need it now. So I always do this with strings. I always make sure that every time I go and I check it out, and if the sort of strings that I buy are there, then I buy them. And if they're not, then I don't. So it's simple as that. Hello to the Secret Legacy. I hope you are enjoying your day off. I don't know. I know you work a lot of public holidays, so maybe you didn't get the day off yesterday. But we're back to regular day here on a Tuesday. Yeah, maybe it is drag and drop. Yeah, I'm gonna have to experiment. I'll read through the update again, and then I'll see what it's all about. Doing better. Excellent. Good to hear. Finally, the final little bit of tidbits here is to talk about the fact that you're casual. Yeah, I thought that because it's more event-based stuff, isn't it? So a lot of it is based around when and where events are happening for you. The final thing I wanted to talk about is October events. So in the past few years, Apple their October event is usually an iPad/Mac/ sometimes other devices event. Last year, if you remember, we had the spooky, the scary fast Halloween event that turned out to just be a video that dropped. Like, it was so low energy, and it was just some iPads and I think some Mac stuff. It was so uneventful that I've forgotten what it was. This year, we're not sure. We're not sure if it'll go back to actually being an event. It's already the 8th of October, well, the 7th, where you might be, and we haven't actually got a date yet. So, unless we did this morning, that's usually what happens. I wake up, I put my show notes together, and then just as I say that, nothing happens. So we'll find out whether there is going to be an event or whether it's going to be a press release. That's what they did one time as well, or just a video drop talking about new gear. But what will we get? Well, pretty clearly, we're not going to get an iPad Pro because the iPad Pro M4 is new and shiny. So you can kind of cross that off the list of things that might happen. The Apple Watch has just had an upgrade, so you can cross that off. The AirPods have just had an update, you can cross that off. And the iPhone, of course, has its big September event of its own. So we're talking iPads, non-Pro iPads. We're talking Mac, and that's about it. So the rumor mill is sort of churning away at the moment. M4 MacBooks, maybe M4 MacBook Pros, maybe a new M4 Mac Mini. I know many people are coveting at the moment, and the rumors around that are they going to do a Mac Mini that's like a smaller form factor, so that it's more like an Apple TV kind of size, which would be, I don't know, I guess it would be cool, but I've never looked at the Mac Mini and gone, look at that big clunking thing. I'm like, wow, that's way small. But apparently people want smaller. I'm a little worried that that will sacrifice ports. Like the good thing about the Mac Minis, it still has an HDMI port. It still has enough USB ports. It still has a freaking headphone jack. I can see them just cutting it down and sticking like two USB-C ports on it, and one of them's for power or something ridiculous. You know what I mean? It'll be a sacrifice because they'll want it to be the form over function. So hopefully not. Maybe we'll even see some of the Pro and Max chips for M4 because remember, we've still only seen the regular M4 chip, which, I mean, I bought, my recent purchase was the M2 Pro chip in, is it the Pro or the Max? What did I buy? I've forgotten. But I bought a Mac Studio with a souped up, not the very highest end, but the middle tier. See, even I get confused with this stuff now. And that's because that is still quicker than the M3 and M4s that are not Pro or not Max. So it's a bit confusing. People think, well, M4 must be twice as good as M2. Not really. An M2 Pro or an M2 Max is often faster than even the new M4s with their increased efficiency. I know. Try to keep up with this stuff. Hey, it's remember when it was easy? Remember when there was Pentium, Pentium 2, Pentium 3, Pentium 4, or even better, it was 386, 486. Although even then you had SX and DX. I was talking on a show the other day, and I know Thomas Christ was commented that he was the same. Had the 486 SX, which was like the cut down version of the chip, and yeah, struggled to play the old Doom and Wolfenstein and things like that on the SX chip. It is hard. They keep putting the high end chips in iPad, and there's very little software that takes advantage. I was actually baffled about the fact that they did bother to put the M4 in the iPad first. I think the rumor was they couldn't get the M3. So the reason that the M3 kind of just got completely skipped is that there was sort of production shortages and they could kick in the whole 3 nanometer or whatever the new process is, but they didn't have any chip fabs that could make the M3 in enough quantities to flesh out the iPad Pro. So they kind of went, stuff it, let's just shove the M4 in there instead and make it completely overpowered, which it is. It's ridiculously overpowered for what I do, and it's created this big divide actually. Not to get too into the weeds, but with Logic Pro for iPad in particular, I now, because I'm using the M4 iPad Pro, I have to force myself to grab my 2020, my A12Z processor, iPad Pro, and try some things just so that I can live the frustration that others are living. Because, yeah, there's such a massive difference. It wasn't that big a difference between your iPad Airs and your iPad Pros back in the day, but now that we've got the M4, before we had the M2, but now especially with the M4 in there, it's night and day. It's ridiculous. So we will see. Maybe Apple release an iPad 11th Gen M1 and iPad Mini 7 M1. Yeah, so to complete my thought there, the Macs, that's what we may see in terms of Mac. In terms of iPad, yeah, rumors are around exactly that they'll release, they'll push in, and look, I don't know if they'll go the M1 or the M2 into the regular iPad. I guess it kind of does make sense now that they do have that, the architecture to do that. But yeah, I don't know. I think they might want to continue separating out their pro and non-pro models and just use the A14 or 15 or whatever the latest A series chip is, the mobile chip, the iPhone chip, basically. But I've been wrong before about many, many things. But I do think, bottom line with all of this stuff is don't buy a Mac or an iPad, apart from the iPad Pro right now. Uh, just wait, because something is probably going to happen between now and the 31st of October. And if it doesn't, then you're good to go and you can buy stuff. But yeah, and the other thing is when they have all these updates, you can usually get yourself a refurbished model of the previous one. In fact, I'm hoping that they'll get shiny new Macs out there because I'm actually weirdly in the market for a MacBook Air. Because if you recall, I had the MacBook Pro on loan from Apple, and I loved having a Mac laptop. I'm using a Chromebook at the moment just for general sort of typing and stuff, but I must admit, now I'm such an Apple fan person now that every time I'm outside of the Apple ecosystem, simple things like I just want to airdrop something to or from my phone, and I can't do it because it's not there, and I have to email it or frickin' put it on Google Drive and then download it. So, yes, I have drunk the Kool-Aid or whatever you want to call it, and I do want an Apple laptop. So this could be good for me because if they release new Apple laptops, then the older ones, and there's actually zero wrong with the very first M1 iPad MacBook Air. But I've got my eye on just an M2, just a straight M2 MacBook Air. It doesn't have to have huge storage, just hopefully I can pick one up for a decent price there. Are you keeping up with the Commodore? It's all about the Pentium, baby. I was wearing my Weird Al t-shirt yesterday, actually. Speaking of Weird Al, yeah, Commodore 64 and the Amiga. Remember the Amiga 500? I never had an Amiga, but I had a mate who had an Amiga, and Sensible Soccer on the Amiga was my absolute favorite game. Pretty sure I was friends with Tyson just so that I could go to his house and play his Amiga. TI-99 and VIC-20. Oh, yeah. Exactly. It was bad even for its time. Oh, Packard Bell. See, we had a no-name. We had a friend who built ours, so it was like a no-name one. But yeah, people had the HP, the Compacts, the Hewlett-Packards, the Dells. Oh, yeah. Memories. Yeah, don't worry, Bear. A lot of folks are still adjusting to this. You'll just get used to it, and then we'll be another hour earlier because that's just how we roll. But the good news is that it'll get better for our friends like Mateusz over there in Europe and the UK because it will be at a slightly more sensible time. I hope you're well. How'd your football team go? Was it Arizona State that you saw? Is there there's no NFL team in Arizona? Oh, there are? The Cardinals? Am I making that up? I know so little about football. I apologize. Yeah, I have to use Windows. I know. I used to love it because I used to be a Windows user and my work was Windows and everything in my world was Microsoft and Windows and it was all compatible to the point where I could have, wasn't supposed to, but I had OneNote and OneDrive and stuff that was just on my personal PC and I could just sort of sync all my files. So, I don't know, let's just say that video script ideas and things were in the same place as my work notes so that when I was at work, I could just go in there and add in some ideas or flesh out a script or write a YouTube description or something. So, yes, I was a dodgy bugger, but hey, maybe that's why they finally got rid of me. Not true. By the way, not seriously related to anything. It wasn't even in the rundown, but thank you to you, Thomas, but to everyone because I just celebrated 4 years of independence. Yeah. I'm like a country that's been been independent for 4 years now. So on the 30th of September 2020 is the last date that I was formally and officially employed by anyone. And since then, Studio Live Today, Pete Johns trading as Studio Live Today has been my full-time gig. And it's only thanks to people like you that watch these shows, that interact, that buy the merch, that buy stuff from the gear guide, that do all the things. That's the only reason that I get to keep doing this. Thomas says your t-shirt arrived yet. I feel terrible about that. I'm seriously considering just pulling the plug on Teespring. They have not provided great service to me in the past, and they've lost stuff, and I've had reports from folks that they're taking a long time and not doing the right thing. I think as soon as they turned from Teespring to Spring and they added a bazillion additional products, it's one of those things that's like, stick to your niche, stay in your lane. You were decent at providing good decent quality t-shirts in a decent time frame. Now it seems you're providing poorer quality in a longer time frame, and that is never the right way to go, in my opinion. My amigo had an amiga. Yes, time zones, right? Am I right? It's so wacky. It's so weird to try and think. Explaining to people that I do my job and that I do this at 8:30 because it's in the afternoon for people in the US and Canada, because the vast majority of people that watch these shows are in the US and Canada. Yeah, my accountant doesn't even understand how it works or how I make money. Hello, Mars Capone. Thank you for being here. There you go. Already benefiting from being here. The Arizona Wildcats. So that's the name of the team, and they lost. Okay. Who are we? The Wildcats. Who are we going to beat? The Wildcats. Yeah. Did I hear mention of a music video upload to DistroKid? No. What I was mentioning earlier was linking my hyperfollow page to the music videos that you and I did, just so that people can easily find them all from one page. So just putting links to those videos there. There is DistroVid, but that's for sort of more fully produced videos as opposed to lyric videos and the like. Jade's used that for her Metheus song, and I think she might have released another song using DistroVid. I'm blanking on it and I'm forgetting. Honestly, for me, because I don't really do fully produced music videos as such, outside of lyric videos, DistroVid's never really been a thing that I've explored in great detail, to be very honest. But yeah, good question and clarification. It took us a day to adjust to daylight savings. We forgot to adjust our oven clock. I know, I missed an appointment. That's the worst thing, is your old school tech. Like, all the new school tech just gets automatically updated, but it's the old school tech that's the problem. Updated to MacBook Pro to Sequoia, and there are glitches. Really? Okay. Well, I haven't. I meant to, and I even was going to do a show on it, but I haven't. I'm definitely not updating my my studio computer here. But I do have the Mac Mini, and now that Songtember is done, I may actually have half a second to scratch myself and maybe actually check that out. So we will see how we go with that. Bradley just said, I just moved over from Windows to a Mac system, and being a voiceover user, it's been quite a big move, but I'm slowly getting there. I can imagine, yeah, for our vision impaired friends, the Mac and the iOS ecosystem are supposedly very good. I haven't used VoiceOver extensively, but I've spoken to a lot of folks who do, and they say that VoiceOver is great in iOS, and many vision impaired people and blind folks are iPhone users for that very reason, and iPad users. And I've heard that Mac is good. I've heard that Windows does a decent job as well these days, so I guess it would just be a transition and getting used to the new system. But let us know how you get on, Bradley, because it's interesting. It's been on my list of things to do for a long time, which is to do some videos on using VoiceOver to create music. I'm a little scared because it looks hard, but I've been told by a lot of folks that it's not that daunting and it's not as hard as you think once you dive in and get used to it. And I also don't want to be offensive, like, because what's the video? I blindfold, I put a patch over my eye and try and use it. I don't know. I was going to say blindfold. I don't really. I would only need a single. A bit like when I buy sunglasses. I'm like, do you have any monocles? Can you have any sun monocles that I can buy? Why am I buying this second lens? My wife gives me crap because when you're wearing sunglasses and you wipe the lenses. Yeah, let's just say that I often forget to wipe the right lens because I don't see through it. For those that are just maybe newer to the community, I only see through my left eye. So it makes it a bit weird when you're getting glasses and you're like rubbing the lenses and cleaning them. And she goes to put my sunglasses on. She's like, can I just borrow your sunglasses? I'm just going outside. And she's like, oh, for the love of God, would you just wipe the other lens? So there. Yes, living the life, doing my thing. Mark says, hey Mark, did I tell you how much I loved your Songtember? It was lurking when yeah, how good was Mark's Songtember song? Really, really cool. Really, really cool stuff. Different, very different. I was listening to, was it Plus 4? Your song from like 2 years ago? Yes, you've undergone some transformations, not only to your music, my friend. Well done. Congrats. Congratulations, Pete. You're grown man. I know, I'm a grown ass man. Oh man, Thomas, that sucks. Yeah, please. Can you complain? Be a squeaky wheel. Just complain and say it's unacceptable and they should send it to you and refund you, because that is a ridiculous length of time to not get it. I'm a little happy that at least it's Jade and not just me. I feel slightly less guilty because it's clearly a problem at Spring's end, not us. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Barry. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, 2020 did make a lot of people change, and look, it was a good opportunity because I'm not sure I would have taken the plunge if I didn't get made redundant. Which here in Australia, if you're made redundant, most employers there's a requirement that based on how long you've been at a company, they have to pay you out a certain amount for every year you've been there, and I've been there 19 years. So let's just say that helped. That helped create a little buffer zone for me that I haven't had to completely use, which is good. Yeah, well, I'm trying to think in terms of what we do with the Songtember and with the video. I'm thinking of doing a music video. I like the idea. I've got this concept in my head at the moment of just me rocking out on guitar and a microphone in front of the green screen. And because it's like a 2.5 minute rock song, is just kind of falling about the place and doing it like think the Strokes or like an old Nirvana live clip where they just sort of start breaking stuff. Obviously, I'm not going to break stuff, but I've got this vision of me just sort of falling over onto the green screen or just something like that. I don't know. It's a work in progress. See? Yes, pun intended. 3:30, I'm beginning my afternoon cleaning ritual. That sounds delightfully fun. DistroKid did have that video creator. Yeah, it's still. So they do still have DistroVid, which you can use. Question. Our last 2 or 3 releases on Spotify are under Joe Barry Glenn. The Joe is not me, but another artist. It's like Barry's cheating on me. I reached out to Spotify to correct the error. Was there more to that? Just Spotify just said my account was not compromised, but have not corrected the error. Any thoughts? So my thoughts are so you're saying it's linked to an incorrect artist. So it's got Barry. So you and Barry Glenn both listed as individual artists within Spotify. Because what you should do is if you're Joe and Barry Glenn is the name of your artist name, there should be a Spotify for artist account that's called Joe and Barry Glenn. But if it's Joe Glenn and Barry Glenn and it's all separate and the Joe Glenn is not you, you need to get that linked. DistroKid have a fixer service. Sounds like the mafia, doesn't it? They're going to fix your sheet. They're going to fix you right up. You could get your fixer. So they do have a thing called Fixer. So if you come down here to, I think it's protect your music. Nope. Must be enhance your music. Nope. Must be special access. Where is it? Promote yourself? No. There's something that was called Fixer. Helpful when needed. Maybe there it is. Fixer. Move music on or off your page in streaming services. So have you tried this? This is what, so what needs fixing? So my music is on the incorrect page. Someone else's music is incorrectly on my page. So you'd say my music is on the incorrect page here. And then you go through and you say like it's on Spotify and which artist. So you go, okay, so here's all like the different artists that I've used. So you'd say Joe. So for me, I'd say Georgie. And then I'd say, do you have a Spotify artist page? No, let's make a new. So Joe, if you don't have a Spotify artist page, then you can create one there, or you go yes, and then you give it your artist page, and you've got to find the URI for your Spotify artist page. Shall I help you here? Let's do this now. Because if I go to Spotify, Spotify.com, I don't like to, but I'm going to anyway. And it works the same with all of your other ones as well. So if we're here on Spotify, so if I go Joe Glenn, let's just see, Joe Rogan, please, God no. So I can't find a Joe Glenn very easily. Let's go Joe and Barry Glenn. Barry? Joe and Barry. Barry Glenn. Yeah, spelling and capitalization to make sure that is the case. So here's your Joe and Barry Glenn as an artist with this one. Yep, this looks like you. Blackleg Miner, Murder, 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 We Love to Kill. Yep, they're all here. All the Joe and Barry Glenn. So that's your verified artist, and that's your official artist name there. So you're saying that it's linking off, and is there a Barry Glenn as well? Like that's separate. Barry Gledden. There he is. Is that him? So that's Barry Glenn. So he's got his own, does he? Bottom of so that's just under Barry Glenn, is it? So what I would say, why do we need this just Barry Glenn artist name? I would try and get your Joe and Barry Glenn one and put it and just say all this stuff should be under Joe and Barry Glenn. So it's on Barry Glenn. Move it from there and put it onto Joe and Barry Glenn. How to find the URI? Sounds like a infection. I went to the doctor and he said I've got the worst URI he's ever seen. So we come to these three dots and you go to share, but you don't use this. You'd think that you use this, but you don't. You hold down, it's control, and I think it might be control as well on Windows if you're using a Windows PC, but on a Mac, you hit the control button and see how it goes from copy link to artist to copy Spotify URI, and then you just click that one, and why is that not working? Copy. So we've got the URI, and that's what you put in here. So that's what you do. You put your Spotify artist blah. So I would go through this process, Joe, and just say which artist is it. And I don't know what yours will look like, but you'll probably got Joe Glenn and Barry Glenn. So whichever artist it's not showing as, and then basically decide how you want it to be. Personally, I would say Joe and Barry Glenn is the name of your band, like Peter, Paul, and Mary. You don't want it to be Peter something, Mary something, Paul something, unless you do. Unless you plan to go out and work with other artists individually, not together, in which case, go your hardest. And yeah, the caps do matter. So, yeah, just go and find how that's been. You went to Fixer, but not fixed. Yeah, okay. Maybe try again. Try again. Give it another crack. It's always been Joe and Barry Glenn. Yeah. So, yeah, it looks like you do have Joe and Barry Glenn, but for whatever reason, it's put those recent ones on that weird Barry Glenn profile. Also log into your Spotify for Artists page, which you should have access to, your account, and check there as well. You might be able to, at that end, just delete that Barry Glenn. I don't know, that might be dangerous. It might go away. Or just accept that Spotify is a turd and you don't really care about how your music looks on Spotify. No, not the right answer, but Spotify's a turd. All right. Should we talk iOS and iPadOS 18? Not much to tell you about this. The reason that I've been talking about other things and spending time on that is there's really not much that we need to talk about at this point in time. Here's the deal. I would still say, for the vast majority of people in this community who are creating on the regular, you don't need to update to iPadOS or iOS 18. It may still cause problems, but probably not. It is pretty safe now. I have now moved all my devices. So I have two iPads. So my iPad Pro from 2020. I also have this iPad here, which is my iPad Pro M4 that's on loan from Apple. This is also here on the updated version. If we go, oh, here it is. Yep, 18.0.1. My two phones, I've got the iPhone SE2 that has been updated and is fine. No, a lot of people have been saying things like, oh, the battery drains really fast. Yeah, it kind of does. But that's because I'm using a pretty old phone that's already got a battery that's, what is this at? Because this is my wife's old phone, and I use it as like a second phone. And yes, I know, why do you need a second phone? Trust me, it's handy. If I edit a video and I'm rendering out a 4K, 60 frame a second, 20-minute video on this phone, I can't use my phone for like 20 minutes. So I grab this one. Forgive me, please. So what's my battery like on this one? Battery health and charging. Maximum capacity, 74%. So yeah, they do say anything under 80%, your battery is basically kind of fried. So there might be some more, again, if you turn off the additional features though, that's the thing. The people are like, oh, I did nothing and it's all changed now on my new version. Well, yeah, you've probably gone in there and changed your background wallpaper to like an active wallpaper. You've changed all your icons. You've turned on all these different features and functions. Just go back in and turn them off. I haven't done a video on it because there's enough out there, but if you just search iOS 18 features to turn off and do all them, then you're good to go. So yeah, go with it. Just turn off anything that you're not using and you'll be fine, especially if it's radios. So your 4G, 5G radio and your Wi-Fi, turn them off if you're not using them. And go into airplane mode if you're making music because you don't need them. In fact, it's better if you don't get disturbed while you're trying to make music with having other things coming in. So that's something to do. So yeah, if you're on 17.7 right now, is there anything here that's going to absolutely blow your skirt up and float your boat? I don't think so. There's some fun things to faff about with. I do like the being able to tap back the horns or tap back a high five or tap back something that's not just heart or thumb. Speaking of thumb, now would be a great time to give a thumbs up down below. But yeah, I wouldn't do it, especially on older devices, because it will. It is at the point. People say, "Oh, it's what do they call it? It's like forced redundancy." They're deliberately making these devices update to software that the hardware can't manage in order to make you buy a new piece of kit. I don't really believe in that. I think that's part of it, but they genuinely want to give you the new shininess, and they're on the right track because one of the things that I was absolutely baffled about. I'm gonna take you behind the scenes here because I thought this always frustrates me. Like, and YouTubers know what I'm talking about. Thomas, Jade, anyone that's made YouTube videos will know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to this sort of stuff. But if I show you the back end of my YouTube, ding, if I show you my back end over here, um, look at this. So all the videos that I've been working my ass off, like my Learn Lyric video, 400 views, how to release music, 300 views, how to do album art, 200 views. And then if we scroll down, it's like, hey, what's this 20,000 views? Oh, why iPad M4 can't update to iPadOS 18. And that is just full of people. You can see there it's only 97% likes because a lot of people blamed me for the problem, so they put a dislike on it. But 137 comments and 20,000 views. And then because I'm like, well, I guess that's what people want. So I did a follow up one 2 weeks later. Why there's still no update. And again, my usual 400, that one 4,000. So you get a 1,000% increase by playing into people's unhappiness. And then when it was finally available, yeah, I got another 5,000 views on that one. So it's a little bit wacky how many people were really genuinely annoyed by this. And people were just like, they should be ashamed of themselves. Why are they holding this back? And I'm like, dude, you realized it was because it was brick and iPads, right? Would you rather have your iPad bricked? That's one. And two, why were you in such a hurry? What about this update did you look at and go, dark mode, where do I sign up? I'll take whatever risk is required just to have dark mode. Maybe. Yeah, my icons get to look a bit different. Whatever. So yeah, it's a little baffling to see how many people were worried and really wanted that. Yeah, the fickle ways of the algorithm, and the fact that now, look, this is why I don't blame people. I don't blame creators that just create drama and controversy and deliberately tag and deliberately use emotive words and emotive thumbnails and focus on the negative. Because God, if I learned anything about that, I'd be like, why the hell am I trying to drive positivity into the world and help people create when I can just bitch and moan and complain about things and get a lot more views? Yeah, but not going to happen. Not going to happen. Oh yeah, who wants to see peace back in? Nobody. Planned obsolescence. That's the word I was trying to do. That I was trying to say. Yes. Clickbait gets rewarded more than actual talent or content. Yeah, it's true. And sometimes I get sad about it. And then I realize that, I mean, could I sleep at night if I did go down that track? I kind of know what I could do if I wanted to kind of 2x or 3x my views, but I'd then have to deal with all those people in the community. And I think I've spent the last 7+ years carefully curating this community to be full of cool people that actually want good quality content. And the thing is, those 20,000 people that watch that video, they're not subscribing to the channel. They're not watching the live streams. They're not listening to the tutorials. They just wanted to come in, find somewhere to give them the information, go, oh, okay, occasionally have a little bitch about it and say, Apple sucks, and then be on their merry way. So, yeah. And I guess that's the bottom line with this is a lot of the videos I do like digging crud out of your headphone jack. And yeah, the fact that iPadOS 18 wasn't available for the M4 iPad for a while, that's the stuff that's going to pay the bills. And in between time, I get to do the fun things like chat about GarageBand and Apple related stuff for an hour every week. So there we go. Excuse me. I had a frog in my throat. It needed to hop out. So what else have we got to say about iOS 18? Apart from don't do it, make sure you got enough space. I had a lot of people complain and said, oh, it said the update did not work. And sometimes it'll say you don't have enough space for this, and sometimes it'll just say operation failed, and you got to guess. But that is definitely one of the things I've seen that folks do. This update's 6.5 gigabytes, which makes it almost comically unavailable for someone that's got a 64 or a 32 gigabyte iPad. You really have to only ever use about half your storage if you've got a low storage capacity iPad. So make sure you have enough storage, enough capacity there. Deleting YouTube is a great idea. Not in general, but YouTube becomes an absolute beast over time. If you've ever needed to find some quick space on your iPad, let me show you this. The other thing is that now in iPadOS 18, one thing that has changed is down here, you don't have just like this constant list of apps. The apps are down the bottom here, and then you got to go in through here. But to get to your storage one, that's still here under General and iPad Storage. And you can see how little of the ridiculous amounts I have here. So a lot of mine is in my photos. So all the videos I have in my photos, LumaFusion, Logic Pro, that all makes sense. But is this going to make a liar of me? Probably, because I don't use YouTube much on this one. But there it is. So it's only 753. If I compare that to my phone, which I do use for YouTube a lot, let's just see how much. And this is, I don't even download. I know with Premium you can download videos. I don't really ever do that, but it does fill up your storage quite significantly. So yeah, my YouTube on my phone, you can't see it here, is 18.35 gigabytes. So that's just, a lot of that is caching of things. So things that you watch, or you maybe have watched a couple of times, the YouTube app is really, really data hungry. It really spends, whenever you're on Wi-Fi, it spends a lot of time preloading videos, and it does an absolute crap job of clearing out that cache afterwards. So you've probably got little chunks. If you've watched on your iPad, phone or iPad, if you watch me and you've watched live streams, you've watched videos, a lot of those are probably living right now on your device. And it's really kind of hard to manage apart from going to your app store, delete YouTube, and then, or just go to your page, delete YouTube, reinstall it, relog in, and you're good to go. Facebook, same deal. Instagram, not quite as hungry, but yeah, basically any of your apps that you're consuming media through. I don't know if Twitch is like this as well, because I don't use Twitch a lot either, but anything that's using video playback or downloading or streaming video, so Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok probably, I don't know, Snapchat, then yeah, you can actually gain yourself a lot, because that's just wasted space. You don't need that cache. It's all good. Yeah, the one GarageBand trick that will change how you make music forever. And I would have to be like, I'd have to have a wide open mouth pointing at something off screen, and you're just like, what is he so excited about? What is he pointing at? Yes, I could do that, but I won't. And look, I do use some of those too. Weirdly, I've been criticized before for being clickbaity. And like, I'm probably 10% on the scale of clickbaitiness. I have moved to putting my face on videos because people seem to trust you more. And I'm the same. I'll click on a video. If I can see someone's face, I know that at least it's going to be someone creating this. It's not AI. It's not one of those stupid voiceover ones. It's actually a person. So I get that and I utilize that. And yeah, do I make sure that my title and my thumbnail create a cohesive thing? Yeah, I'm not going to just make my title 10 things to know about GarageBand and then the thumbnail 10 things to know about GarageBand, because that would not work. I would not click that. So other people would probably not click that either. A couple more final tips for iOS 18, or for general maintenance and updating in general. Turning it off and on. The amount of people that says, I don't have the update. And I say, like, what happened when you shut it down and then turned it back on? Did it pop up then? They're like, what do you mean? I turned it off. I turn off my phone all the time. Look, I turned it off and back on again. And look, it's not their fault, because especially the kids, and I call them the kids because talking about my kids, yeah, they don't really know how computers work. That the only real way to get something completely not you, Siri, I didn't want you, to actually make sure that all the cache and all the memory and everything is cleared and to log back in is the old Control-Alt-Delete, shut down, restart, whatever you do. So yeah, with your devices, if you don't see an update pop up, if everyone else has got the new GarageBand and you don't, if you're finding that you just got all these niggly little problems, they call it the universal fix for a reason. Reset, just turn everything off. The other thing is closing apps. So I say this to my children all the time. I go to their iPhones and iPads, and they've got like 11,000 apps open. Look, mine's not great, but it's not terrible. I've got probably 20 apps open. And what I'll do is at least every couple of days, I'll just do this. So I'll open my phone, I'll slide up, look at my face, and I'll slide up and then just flick them all away. And look, there's different schools of thought on this. Some people say it does nothing, and maybe it is just a placebo, but I can't imagine, especially if you've got background app refresh on, I can't imagine that it's not pulling data. I can't imagine that it's not clogging up some of your pipes and your memory bandwidth within there, just having those open. So that's the first thing I say to people. They're like, my thing's not working. I'm like, clear out as much storage space as you can. Always have, I say, try to have 10 gigabytes of space. That might be overkill, but why not? Like, just try and have 10 gigabytes. That means any update that comes in is going to be able to download and install. That means you're never going to run into that low out of memory kind of problem, that low storage problem. But I get it. If you've got a 32 or a 64 or even a 128 gigabyte device, maybe you don't have the luxury for that. Delete everything out there, close all your apps, turn it off, turn it back on. And the final thing you can do is actually log out of your account. So if it's an account related thing where it's not working or you can't sync something or something's not showing a recent purchase or a previous purchase, yeah, log out. So log out, you just go to your main screen, tap on where it's got your name, and then down the bottom, you go sign out. The red one at the bottom, sign out. And that will just say, all right, you've signed out of your device, you'll have to put your password in and stuff, and then log back in. It doesn't hurt anything. Nothing goes away. It won't change anything. It just means that there's something about computers that if you just go out of it and then freshly go back in, it's almost like, oh, it's you. We got all these updates for you. Yeah, oh yeah, we'll let you sync that. No problem. We didn't realize it was you when it was you before, but as soon as you said it wasn't you and then it was you again, now we know it's you. It sounds stupid. But computers are stupid. Computers are not a perfect product. Computers are often written on spaghetti code. Computers often are iterative, so that the designs that we have now, look at your Windows computers, they can still run things for DOS. Like they've still got backwards compatibility back to 1985. Mac, to its credit, don't have as much backwards compatibility, neither does iOS, but you can bet your bottom dollar that iOS, what are we up to now? 18 has some iOS 7 code in there somewhere doing something. Because they don't. It's not the way that software development works. You don't just scrub the slate clean and start from scratch every time with software development, especially these days. Everything's sprints and iterative development and minimum viable product. So they ain't scrapping nothing. So there you go. That's my rant on that. We'll answer any final questions and say our farewells in a jiffy. If you do have a final question, just chuck a Q in front of your comment. And we will finish. And then John's is having a couple of days off just quietly because I'm a little tired. Oh, yeah, I know. It's fun times. It's fun times for everything. On and off is off and on and off. Way to go. I'm so tired of the resize bug in Logic Pro. I'm also tired of the, how's this? I went to do the show today and I'm like, look, I like your drums, Jade, but I don't want to only hear them when I have nothing muted or soloed. I get this one all of the time. So anytime, if you don't know this one, in random projects for random reasons, doesn't happen all the time, doesn't happen in every project, but for whatever reason, this project, every time I open it, let's just go back. We'll go to my recent. Why aren't you in recent? I don't know. Let's go back through iCloud Drive. That's another weird one. Why would that not be in recent? Songtember 2024. This one here. And then we come back into it. Nothing has changed, mind you. Nothing is soloed or muted here, and so it was clearly just showing that. So yeah, there's some bugs. We need a new Logic Pro version. We didn't really need a new GarageBand version. We do need a new Logic Pro version. Just saying. Yeah, exactly. Turn off and on before starting a project too can help. It really just does help everything. Hello, Big Howling Coyote. Good to see you. Hello, Tom S. as well. Good advice, but have your password stored in other than... Yeah, don't use the same password for. I mean, it's the standard stuff. Don't use the same password for a bunch of different platforms, and try to use a password manager. The new to be honest, the best thing about iPadOS 18 is instead of like your iCloud keychain and then storing your Wi-Fi passwords separately, there's a passwords app. It's called Passwords. It's an app, and all your passwords and passkeys and phrases and everything are all in there. So that's good. That's good. Alrighty. Yeah, Apple should really enhance Minor Update. Yeah, I think so. Exactly. It is. And look, I jokingly said the reason that they updated Logic Pro for iPad was such a big update when they did and wanted to add new features is we were all coming to the end of our first year of our Logic Pro for iPad subscriptions. So, yeah. And that's a good point. Do send in bug reports. I'm bad at this, but yeah, as Mark says here, it's still in its infancy. It's still finding its feet. It's a little toddler. It's just learning. It's just climbed over the wall of the crib and it's just learning to crawl around right now. So it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a little bit of time. That is going to do it for this one, my friends. Thank you again, everyone, for your contributions to Songtember 2024. I'll have to change my background because I'll use this one last time. You can still go to that web address there if you want to relive it from start to finish. I thought it was poignant that we closed out with Jade and Tom because we opened with the launch party with Jade and Tom, what felt like 6 months ago, but was only actually 4 weeks ago. So it was like a nice tying a little bow at the end that we started with Jade and Tom, and we ended with Jade and Tom. So yeah, do go and check that one out. Don't forget, you can go to studiolive.today.com, check out the gear guide, go to the GarageBand FAQ. That's my digital brain, honestly. You can reach out to me, and people do. Email me or message me. I'm about 2 weeks behind at the moment. If you're waiting on a reply from me, I'm sorry, but I've kind of had to prioritize other things for a little while. So I will be catching up on that over the next week. But honestly, use the digital brain. Go to YouTube and just search stuff. Go to studiolivetoday.com and find stuff, and you'll be good to go. Songtember over and already recording a new album. Yeah. Rocktober is here. Very cool. All right, that is going to do it for this one. As we say at the end of each and every show around here, please be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Keep creating. And I'll see you next time here on Studio Live today. Bye for now.